I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please join me in a Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councillor Clements?
Present.
Councillor Langevin?
Present.
Councillor Marcucci?
Present.
Councillor McDonald?
Excused.
Councillor Moriarty?
Present.
Councillor Nicola?
Present.
Councillor Peliquin?
Present.
Councillor Regis?
Present.
Councillor Vandal?
Present.
8 here.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, consider and accept Town Council meeting minutes of Monday, November 5th, 2012.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, revisions, corrections? Can we have a roll call, please?
Councillor Langevin?
Yes.
Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Peliquin?
Yes.
Councillor Regis?
Yes.
Councillor Vandal?
Yes.
Councillor Clements?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, subcommittee reports. A, General Government. Councilor Regis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A meeting of the General Government Subcommittee was held on Wednesday, November 14th in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairwoman Regis, committee members Councilor Langevin, Councilor Peliquin, citizen members Larry Spinelli and Michael Janes. Also in attendance were Councilor Clements, Councilor Moriarty. I was there again, I guess. That's what I need, 2 of me. That's what I've been asking for. Town Manager Clark and Tom Daly. Chairwoman Regis called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Agenda item number 1, vote to approve the appointment of Richard Cowett of Southbridge to the Agricultural Commission for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2015. Mr. Clark gave a synopsis of Mr. Cowett's experience. The motion was made by Councilor Langevin and seconded by Larry Spinelli with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve the appointment of Richard Cowett to the Agricultural Commission for a 3-year term to expire June 30, 2015. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. Agenda item number 2, vote to approve the health insurance renewals for 2 Blue Cross Blue Shield and Fallon senior plans effective January 1, 2013, and to submit to Council for ratification. Mr. Clark stated the Medix plan went down by 11%, Medicare HMO Blue went down by 7.1%, and Fallon Senior went up by 4.49%. A motion was made by Councilor Langevin and seconded by Larry Spinelli with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve the health insurance renewals for the 2 Blue Cross Blue Shield and Fallon Senior plans effective January 1, 2013. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. Agenda item number 3, vote to approve the appropriation of up to $100,000 from the insurance funds for the damage related to the municipal airport to extend the newly constructed water line on Commercial Drive to the airport site to provide drinking water and water to the fire hydrants for firefighting capabilities. Mr. Clark stated that the tornado caused some damage at the airport. It was decided that a water line would be put in place to provide a fire hydrant at the airport and supply drinking water to the airport site. DEP has requested this work to be done. Funds will be appropriated from the insurance funds. A motion was made by Councilor Langevin and seconded by Larry Spinelli with a favorable recommendation to Council to approve the appropriation of up to $100,000 from the insurance funds for the damage related to the municipal airport to extend the newly constructed water line on Commercial Drive to the airport site to provide drinking water and water to the fire hydrants for firefighting capabilities. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. Agenda item number 4, vote to award the IFE for the review of Phase 2 airport rebuild to URS in the amount of $1,200 as summarized on Exhibit A and submit to Council for ratification. Mr. Clark said there are 3 components to the airport rebuild. 1, repair the blue building. 2, the previously discussed water issues. And 3, the other 2 hangars. Mr. Clark said there is not enough money to do all 3 projects. An IFE review needs to be done to review peer estimates. Under FAA rules, this needs to be done to secure grant monies. A motion was made by Larry Spinelli and seconded by Councilor Peliquin with a favorable recommendation to Council to award the IFE for the review of Phase 2 airport rebuild to URS in the amount of $1,200 as summarized on Exhibit A. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. Agenda item number 5, vote to appropriate $10,921.96 from overlay surplus to account number 001-0945-5787, interest on abatements, to refund interest for a fiscal year 2009 personal property tax abatement and to submit to council for ratification. Mr. Knoyer discussed the history of the personal property tax rules. Verizon did not agree with the DOR and filed an appeal. Verizon has won its appeal, and the towns must abate the property tax for 2009 and the interest through November 30th, 2012. A motion was made by Mr. Spinelli and seconded by Mr. Janes with a favorable recommendation to council to appropriate $10,921.96 from the overlay surplus account number 001-09455787, interest on abatements, to refund interest for a fiscal year 2009 property tax abatement, and to submit to council for ratification. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. A motion to adjourn was made by Larry Spinelli and seconded by Council Peliquin. Vote by show of hands, all in favor. Meeting adjourned at 7:20 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, recording clerk. No meeting scheduled at this time, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I was present at that meeting.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
include you in that. Thank you, Counselor. B, DPW.
Thank you. A meeting of the DPW Subcommittee was held on Wednesday, November 14, 2012, in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were myself, Subcommittee members Councilor Marcucci and Councilor Peliquin. Also in attendance were Councilor Clements, Councilor Langevin, Councilor Moriarty, Councilor Regis, Town Manager Clark, DPW Director Tom Daly, and Mike Janes. Mr. Pioppi and Mr. Moran were excused. I call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. Agenda item number 1, review and vote to approve snow plowing and removal bids and submit to council for ratification. Mr. Daly said we received bids for the snow plowing, but still need some more help. A motion was made by Councilor Marcucci and seconded by Councilor Peliquin with a favorable recommendation to council to approve the snow plowing and removal bids. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilor Marcucci and seconded by Councilor Peliquin. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 3-0. Meeting adjourned, 6:42 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, recording clerk. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Counselor. C, Education and Human Services, Counselor Marcucci.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A subcommittee meeting of EHS was held on Tuesday, November 13th in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairwoman Marcucci, Councilors Moriarty, Clemens, citizen members Holly Christo and Martina Shea. Also in attendance were Councilor Nicola, Councilor Regis, Councilor Langevin, Councilor Peliquin, Town Manager Clark, Police Chief Charette, Mike Sullivan, and Dale Ferrin. Called the meeting to order at 6:40 p.m. Agenda item number 1, vote to appoint Michael Marino of Southbridge to the Commission of Disability to complete a one-year term to expire June 30th, 2013. Mr. Clark said the positions were advertised and both candidates met all the requirements of the committee. A motion was made by Councilor Moriarty, seconded by Councilor Clements, with a favorable recommendation of council to approve the appointment of Michael Marino to the Commission of Disability for a one-year term to expire June 30th, 2013. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 5-0. Agenda item number 2, vote to appoint Julie Hurley of Southbridge to the Commission of Disability to complete a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2015. A motion was made by Councilor Moriarty, seconded by Councilor Clemens, with a favorable recommendation of council to the appointment of Julie Hurley to the Commission of Disability for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2015. Vote by show of hands, all in favor, 5-0. Agenda item number 3, vote to approve the transfer of FY 2013 local cultural council funds from the Mass Cultural Council in the amount of $8,100 covering the dates of services from July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Mr. Clark stated that this is the authorization required by the state to transfer funds for FY 13 to the Southbridge Cultural Council from the Mass Cultural Council. Mr. Clark said our local cultural council receives and reviews all applications and makes the decision as to who will receive the funds. Motion was made by Councilor Clements, seconded by Councilor Moriarty, with a favorable recommendation to council to approve the transfer of the FY 2013 local cultural council funds from the Mass Cultural Council in the amount of $8,100 covering the dates of service July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Vote by a show of hands, all in favor, 5-0. A motion was made to adjourn by Holly Christo, seconded by Martina Shea. Vote by a show of hands, all in favor, 5-0. Meeting was adjourned 6:44 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Evelyn Rivera, recording clerk. And I have no meeting scheduled. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. D, Planning and Development, Councilor Clements.
No meeting minutes to report, and there's no meeting scheduled at this point.
Thank you. E, Protection of Persons and Property, Councilor Langevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A meeting of the Protection of Person and Property Subcommittee was held on Tuesday, November 13, 2012, in the Rice Conference Room. In attendance were Chairman Langevin, Councilor Regis, citizen members Roger Cowett and Monique Manor. Also in attendance were Councilor Nicola, Councilor Clements, Councilor Pelquin, Councilor Marcucci, Councilor Moriarty, Town Manager Clark, Police Chief Charette, Fire Chief DeFranzo, Shane Woodson, Steve Belrose, Dale Farron, Mike Sullivan, Scott Bailey, Estelle Cowett. Councilor McDonald was excused. Chairman Langevin called the meeting at 7 p.m. Agenda item number 1 was vote to ratify the appointment of Michael P. Sullivan as Sergeant in the Police Department to fill the existing vacancy in the sergeant ranks. Councilor Langevin said that this has been referred back to subcommittee from the council floor. Mr. Clark discussed the process for selecting a candidate. He said that Mr. Sullivan scored the highest in the interview process. This appointment is getting us back to the staffing level that the PD had in the past. Discussion was held in regards to Chief Charette's association with the company that administers the tests. Chief Charette said he had then received a call from the Ethics Commission based on a complaint that they have received. He then received a letter from the Ethics Commission stating there was no conflict of interest, therefore no disclosure was made with the clerk's office. Councilor Marcucci said that disclosure should be filed with the clerk's office. Mr. Clark said that Chief Charette had excused himself from the process so that there wasn't any semblance of impropriety. Chief Charette said he had 4 other chiefs writing the questions for the test for the entire state of Massachusetts. Councilor Langevin spoke about the staffing structure within the police department. Chief Charette said that things are changing and there is a big need for a sergeant. Councilor Moriarty asked Chief Charette what was the ideal structure would be, and Chief Charette said that the ideal for our current population would be 2 lieutenants and 7 sergeants. Currently, we have 1 lieutenant and 7 sergeants. Councilor Langevin wanted the record to reflect that he is supporting Mr. Sullivan for the sergeant's position, but will not support a 2nd lieutenant's position in the future. A motion was made by Councilor Regis, second by Monique Manor. With a favorable recommendation, Council confirmed the appointment of Michael P. Sullivan as Sergeant in the Police Department. Vote by show of hands was 5 to nothing. Agenda item number 2, vote to appropriate the funds from the State Law Enforcement Trust and free cash to purchase new duty weapons and holsters for the Police Department. Mr. Clark said the weapons the officers currently carry are over 10 years old and at the end of their useful life. The new weapons would be the same type they currently have, except they are going to be from a .40 caliber to a .45 caliber. The current weapons are being traded in. A motion was made by Councilor Regis, second by Mr. Cowett, with a favorable recommendation to Council to appropriate funds from the State Law Enforcement Trust and free cash to purchase new duty weapons and holsters for the Police Department. Votes by show of hands. All in favor, 5 to nothing. Agenda item number 3, animal control update. Chief Charette said that they have been working with a second chance and are developing a better plan for animal control. A couple of officers are being trained to help with the animal control. A motion to adjourn was made by Monique Manor and second by Roger Cowett. Vote by show of hands. All in favor, 5 nothing. Meeting adjourned at 8:15. Respectfully submitted by Evelyn Rivera, the recording clerk. And Madam Chair, I have no meeting scheduled at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
just
Councilor.
in regard to the minutes, if we could, I don't believe that yourself or Vice Chair Clements participated in the voting, and there were only 4 members of the subcommittee present.
I did vote.
You did vote. Okay. I apologize. I didn't know that. Okay. So it was 5 to 0. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving along to Chairwoman's announcements. Considering the fact that I've never seen so many people in this room at one time before, I'm going to move this along quickly. I want to first say congratulations to the town clerk's office in putting together and handling a very, very interesting, very large turnout for the general election that took place a couple of weeks ago. And congratulations to the people of Southbridge in coming out in droves to vote. It was very impressive, and I'm very proud of all of you. I'd also like to just bring this forward, doing an advertisement now, and I'm not getting paid for it. You may have seen all of the decorations that are now gracing our community, and the Future of Southbridge and all of their volunteers did a wonderful job. There's going to be the tree lighting. The annual tree lighting will be held this Sunday, and it's November 25th, 5 p.m. Main Street and Elm Street will be where Santa Claus shows up to light the tree, and then there will be a procession down to the Common, as there has been in the past, where there will be photos taken and refreshments. There'll be carolers. It's a good time. The photos will be taken between 6 and 8 p.m. by Village Photo, and these posters, I'm told, are all over town. So if you want any further information, you can go online to msmana@getinvolvedinyourtown.com or call 774-230-0156. This is sponsored by the Future of Southbridge. Kudos to the Future of Southbridge. Once again, you've done a wonderful job in making the town look very festive. So that's that. I want to wish everybody a very happy, safe, healthy Thanksgiving, and I'm going to move it right along to Town Manager's announcements. Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Unfortunately, I do have several items. I will work to go through them as quickly as possible because I do see the large number of people in the room. First off, we have reconfigured Town Hall, or in the process of reconfiguring Town Hall, so the manager's office in particular is now up on this floor, on the second floor of Town Hall. Phone number and everything else remains the same. When we're done, we should hopefully have 2 meeting rooms on each floor, so the end result of it is to try to create more meeting space throughout the facility. We also have a low-income energy assistance program that the folks from the Community Development Department have sent up, and that it's called the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. For information, call the Worcester Community Action Council at toll-free at 1-800-545-4577, and flyers are available online at mass.gov. if you work your way through that. Also in the Economic Development Office in the lower level of Town Hall. We also do have 2 other programs that are affiliated with this, or not affiliated, but just in general with the fuel assistance. The Good Neighbor Energy Fund, operated by the local Salvation Army, if you're in need, also is available at 1-800-334-3047. And we did have a meeting internally, and the Southbridge Emergency Fuel Assistance Fund is also available for folks in desperate need. Those will be probably done through the fire department for references. Just a item of note for the next council meeting, which we have tentatively scheduled for December 3rd at 6:30 will be the tax rate hearing. That will be done by the Board of Assessors prior to the council weighing in on that. And I do wish to just urge that at that tax rate hearing, the tax rate is really, we've already determined what the budget allocation is going to be. What the tax rate is how that funding is going to be allocated over the various tax classifications that exist in the town, whether it's residential, business, or commercial. So really the purpose of the tax rate hearing is how that would be allocated throughout the community, whether it's going to be split rate or a single rate. So that will be at 6:30, and then obviously the council will have several motions before it relative to setting the tax rate. At that point, too, we will also be putting aside some funding for the town reserves. Just for members of the council, there will be no packages distributed this week because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Also, we have the winter parking ban and I apologize, but this thing starts on December 1st, so it's an opportunity to get the word out there. But during December 1st and ending on April 1st of each year, between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 7 p.m., parking shall be allowed only on odd-numbered side of the way on odd-numbered days and even-numbered sides on any town way on even-numbered days. No vehicle shall be parked or left unattended except in accordance with the regulation. We will have this available, the material available on the website, so if you're interested in specific details, the only item that I would like to note on the no parking anytime, those streets have stayed the same, but due to necessity, some of the snow emergency routes have been expanded, and the expanded routes are Curtis Street, DuPaul Street, Edward Street, Goddard Street, Green Ave, Gulfwood Road, Marcy Street, Sale Street, Taft Street, Torrey Road, West Street, and William Street. So if there's any items of, if you live on those streets, I would request that you try to take a look at the regulations to make sure that you stay in compliance. We certainly don't like to tow anybody, but we do need to have the roads be clear. Also, in the package, we did receive an official response from the state auditor's office in regards to a letter that the council had requested that we send in. I do wish to follow up, not in great detail now, but we are undertaking an accreditation program for the police department through our insurance company, and I am working to try to find cost estimates for how much it would be for a police management consultant firm to come in and do a review, as well as an independent auditor. Once I have those numbers back, I would have to seek an appropriation because the budget does not allow for that activity to occur now. I will work to get those to get that information and to provide it to members of the council for formal appropriation request. And then I guess a couple other items on the we conducted the search for the deputy fire chief. And I do wish to, unfortunately, report that the search has resulted in no candidates coming forward. We did have a committee that recommended 2 candidates. In the final analysis, both of those candidates withdrew from consideration. We will plan on going back out, most likely after the holidays. But the chief has been doing yeoman's work, trying to do 2 jobs at once. So I will be requesting of the council at the December 3rd meeting to have a budget allocation, a reallocation of existing resources to try to, at least at a minimum, get some clerical assistance for the chief so he can get some paperwork caught up on. And we do have a part-time staffer that we've asked to cover just 10 hours a week. So we are looking to do that. I don't want the chief to fall too far behind because I think a new search is probably going to take 2 to 3 months at a minimum. I do have a few other small things, but what I'll do is I do want to move to, I have an item in which about 2 years ago I conducted what was deemed a social services summit, in which there was about 30 or 40 participants at that summit that I asked them to please identify the social services that they offered to the residents of Southbridge. And then I did ask also, would they please identify what they thought were the top 3 biggest needs in the community. And it was interesting because about 75 to 80% of those respondents came back and said that transportation was a key issue in the community. And I'm very happy to report, and we do have some folks from the WRTA here tonight, that they are going to expand service into Southbridge. And Madam Chair, through your indulgence, I'd like to give them an opportunity to provide a brief overview. This service goes into play on January 1st, so again, in an effort to get publicized is the reason why we're doing this tonight.
Good evening, folks, and thank you very much for having us out here tonight. I just want to acknowledge Mary Ellen Blunt from Central Mass Regional Planning Commission and Tom Coyne from the WRTA. Do want you to know that we've had our eye on the eye of the Commonwealth here. Since that time, the manager has met with the individuals. At that point in time, we did not have the resources, unfortunately, that required the needs of the individuals in the community. But since that time, what's been going on with the MBTA and all of the legislative efforts at trying to meet the demands, financial demands of the RTA has resulted in some additional funding going toward the MBTA for this fiscal year, as well as the regional transit authorities in the Commonwealth, of which there are 15. So In that case, I just direct you to the slide on the state budget. There was $3.5 million provided in additional resources to all the RTAs. In this case, the WRTA received almost $514,000 for a service that we can use for this fiscal year. So what we did is internally, we looked at what was on our plate for the last several years in terms of where we got those requests. There were some 25 requests. What we based upon, and you'll see in a moment, on performance measures. Go to the next slide, Tom. A little more in. Right there. Just want to direct you to this slide. Because we've had 25 requests or thereabouts for service, what we wanted to do was put down some performance metrics that made sense and we could rate those services. And so along the top, I won't spend too much time here, but just generally what we have here to measure against is the benefit to priority riders, college commuters, elderly, persons of low and moderate income, proximity to trip generators, population density, employment density, service equity, limit of transfers, connectivity to feeder and mainline routes, route directness, and expansion from the core area. So we ranked all those, and the ones on the left you can see, but the one we're talking about tonight here is the Route 29 Southbridge Express to the Auburn Mall. And that ranked, out of a possible score of 5 points, that ranked 4.0 points, low being 0 points and the high being 5 points. So it ranked pretty favorably amongst our services that we were looking at. So we decided to come forward, and we met with the town manager last week and wanted to run it by him. He thought it was a great idea, and so here we are tonight. We got approval from our board to come out to the neighborhood, hold meetings whenever we increase or decrease service. We need to come to the public and let them know what the service is going to be, and I'll get to the service in just a moment. We had a very, very good meeting attended by, I believe, the vice chair and the town manager were at the meeting and some other folks as well, and all spoke in favor of the additional service. But what we're talking about for service is a new Route 29 that services Southbridge through Charlton to the Auburn Mall, whereupon people can link up with the existing routes at routes 27 and 42 at the Auburn Mall and come into the city of Worcester. Our service will run basically from 5:30 in the morning to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening, and it will run Monday to Friday, approximately 13 hours worth of service. The cost of that service is roughly $125,000, of which the majority of the cost will be borne by the WRTA. A small piece will be borne by the town. We've talked to the manager about that. Minimally, the cost will be per annum about $6,000, up to an estimate of about $15,000. I can't give you more specifics than that at the moment, only because the final cost to the town is factored in after an analysis of the audit is done for that fiscal year, and that isn't done until August or September of the succeeding fiscal year. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Councilor Regis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you know what our current cherry sheet assessment is for the RTA? 65,000 currently, so this would be an additional...
6,500.
An additional on top
Okay.
of it. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Moriarty.
One quick question is, what kind of cost would this be for the average rider? Is it a free ride? Is it a pay per ride? How much? That
It's
sort of thing.
the cost for an all-day pass is $3.50, and that gets you to use anywhere in the system, from Webster to Worcester to anywhere our fixed route system operates. That would be the cost of for the service of the day, or half of that for a one-way trip, $1.75.
And one other question I have is I'm trying to remember the timeline. I don't know if anyone else can help out. I want to say it was roughly 10 years ago or so. We had the WRTA in town for a short time. I don't know if anybody else recalls this, but it was a short time. What would be different from the last time around where it wasn't here long term? What makes this work for us this time?
Well, if I recall from that 10 years ago, it was a grant that was received from the Commonwealth for a specific service, and I believe the service was from Southbridge to Quinsigamond Community College. The grant terminated and the service left. This here is money that we have been told is on the books for this year as well as succeeding years going forward. Otherwise, we would not have started the service.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Councilor Clements?
I attended the meeting, as you said, and one of the things we did discuss was QCC, and one of the big reasons, or one of the reasons, and one of the most happy reasons for QCC people, Victor Soma was there, was the potential to get the students, which we know are attending quite large quantities of students are attending at QCC right now here at the Southbridge campus, but the ability for them to be able to take classes in Worcester if they don't have transportation, because these hours will start at 5:45 in the morning. The first run leaves from Auburn and comes to Southbridge and then gets them back. They'll be able to connect at Union Station and then go off and get to where they need to, or they'll be able to go from Auburn to Union Station and then get to Quincy. So with a little bit of figuring and time management, the opportunities for higher education are for just about everybody now, if transportation was your issue. So it's a wonderful opportunity, not to mention employment opportunities. Again, those hours are early, so you're able to, if you have the opportunity to have a job in the Auburn area, for instance, maybe retail, even the youths of the area, holiday time, seasonal workers, you'll now have transportation to get yourself there. So we applaud your efforts for bringing it here back to our town. Thank you.
Madam Chair, it's a little gift to put on your tree for this year from Worcester.
Thank you very, very much. Greatly appreciate it.
Madam Chair, I just wish to, like you wish the residents of the town of Southbridge a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully they have a safe holiday. Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Okay. The next agenda item is the swearing-in presentation portion. And we're going to start with the DPW, who have an award for the Northeast Regional Snowplow Rodeo Champions. Ron Trudeau. You guys just keep right on winning, don't you?
Good evening. On November 7th, we were invited to participate in the New England Regional Snowplow Rodeo with the team of John Jeske and Jim Latour. We competed against 4 other states besides, we represented Massachusetts. The team of Ware, New Hampshire, which was the defending champions from 2011, they were there. Bridgeport, Connecticut also participated. Dover, Vermont was there. And North Kingstown, Rhode Island. And I'm proud to say that we beat the defending champions of Ware, New Hampshire by 700 points and became the New England Regional Champions, Snowplow Rodeo Champions. Jimmy and Jim.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. And, you know, we have a lot of thanks to give to our own DPW co-workers, Tom, Ronnie, many individuals from the police department, the fire department, school department, family, friends, town residents. You know, we've gotten a lot of support as far as being able to win 3 in a row to bring it to our little town of Southbridge. It's a big deal for Jim and I. You know, it takes great pleasure to bring something like this to show, I guess, our town, you know, how good we really are. Because we take a lot of pride, not only in what we do for these events, but for what we do for the town of Southbridge. And, you know, Jim and I are very proud to be able to put our heads together to bring something like this to our little town of Southbridge. And we'd just like to thank everybody for supporting us. Thank you.
And good evening. I'd also like to thank everybody that allowed us to and made it possible for us to compete in this event. It was a lot of fun and a good experience. And we're proud to represent the town of Southbridge, the state of Massachusetts, and now the Northeast region in the upcoming national event. We hope to go out there, do our best, and bring Southbridge some national recognition. Thank you.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Congratulations. When's the next one?
Congratulations.
April, okay.
April. All right.
Hey, you can also win her to practice now.
Yep.
We got the best plow on our roads, don't we?
Yeah. Excellent. Nice job. Okay. Next, we have the swearing in of our 3 call firefighters. We ratified those appointments in our last meeting. Tonight, we're going to swear the 3 call firefighters in. They are Nicholas Cantara, Ian Haggerty, and Nicholas Shelburne. Chief?
It's my pleasure to first introduce Nick Cantara.
Thank you. And for all of you out there who might not know who that is, that's our town clerk, Maddie Doust.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you, Nicholas Cantara, solemnly swear to perform all duties incumbent of you as a member of the Southbridge Call Fire Department, faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth until June 30th, 2015, faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth, and abide by the charter and bylaws of the town of Southbridge, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, I just need you to sign your name right here, honey. And I also have to give you these, so if you would just sign your name right there, saying again, it's to you today. These are for you. I'm sorry, but I get first dibs. Congratulations to you, my dear.
I would just like to thank the town manager and the town council for this opportunity. My fire chief, Chief DeFranzo, and Captain Shugda, my family, and my friends for great support, and my fellow brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, we are, like the last time.
The next candidate this evening will be Ian Haggerty.
All duties incumbent of you as a member of the Southbridge Call Fire Department until June 30th, 2015, faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth, and abide by the charter and bylaws of the town of Southbridge. So help you God.
I do.
Thank you. If you would just sign me right here, please. Okay. And I also have to give you the open meeting law and the standards of conduct, so if you would sign your name right there. There you go. Congratulations
Thank
to you,
you.
sir. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the town council and the town manager for the appointment, as well as Chief DeFranzo, Captain Shugna, and the members of the Southbridge Fire Department who have already been a help to me. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And the final candidate this evening is Nicholas Shelburne.
Do you, Nicholas Shelburne, solemnly swear to perform all duties incumbent of you as a member of the Southbridge Call Fire Department until June 30th, 2015, faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth, and abide by the charter and bylaws of the town of Southbridge, so help you God?
I do, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I think you would just sign your name right here, please. Okay, and I also have to give you the open meeting law and the conflict of interest, so if you would just sign your name right there. Okay. Just throw that right there. And there you go. Congratulations to you, sir. Thank you.
Just as the other guy said, I'd just like to take
a moment to say thanks to all the people that took their time out today to make this possible. Thank you.
Just like to say on behalf of the Town Council to Nicholas, Ian, and Nicholas, thank you for your willingness to serve. We're proud to have you. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, moving right along to Citizens Forum. Do I have any citizens who wish to come forward this evening? I'm losing all my fans. They're all leaving. Any citizens wishing to come forward for Citizens Forum? Okay, one last time. Any citizens wishing to come forward for Citizens Forum? Moving right along. Agenda item number 9. Can you hear me? Okay. Vote to confirm the appointment of Michael P. Sullivan as sergeant in the police department to fill an existing vacancy in the sergeant rank.
Second.
Any discussion? Chief, anything you wanted to add before we take our vote?
I believe he's a great candidate and he'd be a fantastic asset for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councilor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councilor Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Peliquin?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Vandal?
Yes.
Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin? 8 yes.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
I want to say thanks to my family and friends for all the support that they always give me. Thanks to the chief and the lieutenant for their backing, and thanks to all of you for supporting me too. You won't be disappointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. We're going to take care of this right now.
Can't raise your right hand, sir. Do you, Michael Sullivan, solemnly swear to perform all duties incumbent of you as a sergeant for the town Southbridge Police Department faithfully and impartially according to the laws of the Commonwealth and abide by the charter and bylaws of the town of Southbridge, so help you God?
I do.
You would just sign your name right here, please. And also I have to give you the open meeting law and the conflict of interest. So if you would just sign once more right there, please. And you, sir, are awesome. Congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Thank you.
Sergeant Sullivan. Okay. Agenda item number 10. Vote to confirm the appointment of Richard Cowett of Southbridge to the Agricultural Commission for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'm going to wait for the crowd to go. Because we have to finish the meeting. Now they're going to stand up. I think you can go ahead. Roll call, please.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis? Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin? Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
8 yes.
Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda item number 11, vote to confirm the appointment of Michael Marino of Southbridge to the Commission on Disability to complete a one-year term to expire June 30th, 2013.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Yes.
Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin? Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 12, vote to confirm the appointment of Julie Hurley of Southbridge to the Commission on Disability to complete a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin? Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 13, vote to ratify the Snow and Ice Control Operations Agreement per DPW Director's memo dated 11/5/12 between the Town of Southbridge and the awardees as listed below for snow plowing and/or snow removal.
So moved.
Second.
Should I read through the list?
Yeah.
Thank you. Snow plowing, Norman Brodeur, Jeffrey Brusso, I. Powell Samiga, Leonard Caravo, Deanna Hazard, Philip Langto, Hemlock Landscaping, Donald LaRush, Richard LaFleche, Christopher Parent, Parent Landscaping and Construction. Snow removal, backup plowing, backup snow removal equipment. That would be Jeffrey Brusso, John Fiol, Richard Guerin Jr., Elizabeth McHugh from Bad Girls Trucking, Christopher Parent from Parent Landscaping, Jim Pioppi, Pioppi Construction, Anthony Pallone, A. Pallone Trucking. Temporary plow drivers in town vehicles are Maurice Capistrand, James Latour Sr., and David Shepard. Could I have a roll call, please?
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin? Yes. Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 14, vote to enter into contract with Tri-County Contractor Supplies under state contract to purchase a new roadside mower in the amount of $120,000 with funds to be appropriated as follows: $30,000 from water certified retained earnings, $24,000 from sewer certified retained earnings, and the remaining $66,000 from certified free cash. This was voted unanimously at a DPW subcommittee meeting held October 9th, 2012.
So moved.
Did you want to add anything, or you're all set with this?
Just on several of these, the votes were done a while ago. Free cash has been certified, and the total allocation this evening of all the grand total is $258,000 out of free cash. So we are planning on doing about $700,000 into reserves, and the $258,000 to cover the various ones, of which this one is the $66,000.
Thank you. Councilor Regis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just through you to the town manager, could we have the certification numbers? It would be helpful to have what they are.
On the, I'm going to try to do this from memory. It was $2,028,000 on free cash.
And sewer and water retained earnings?
One of them was 1.7, the other was 1.9 million. And those are round numbers, obviously.
Could we just get a copy of the letter in our packet, maybe?
I will.
Thank you.
Absolutely will.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Langevin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did go to that subcommittee meeting, and again, I was a little torn on which way to go on this, but I just think it really in the best interest of the community, my opinion, is I just can't support this right now. I mean, I think we've been very generous as a community. We purchased a new sweeper. We purchased 2 new backhoes. And now we're coming forth for a new roadside mower. Now, I want the public, there was discussion, much discussion, that this vehicle keeps on breaking down, and they talked about the man hours in the subcommittee meeting. It's a vehicle that, as they would say, is broken more than it's working. And oddly enough, the very next day from this meeting, the next day, I was heading towards Connecticut on Mashbog Road, and this vehicle was up and running, courtesy of a nice contractor in this town that actually gave the part so they could fix this and get it up and running. Personally, I just want to buy some time, because this is something that doesn't have a lot of hours on it. If it's the vehicle that's a problem, I say let's look at maybe for now subcontracting it out to buy us some time and stuff. It just doesn't look, it really doesn't look good to the public after a while. It really doesn't. Come on, I mean, we're raising our taxes, we raise our water and sewer rates, we take, and that's where I'm concerned, is this is $30,000 from water certified retained earnings, then $24,000 from sewer retaining earnings. One of the backhoes came also out of our retained earnings but then we're going to turn around and go and raise. We will raise. Last year it was one. This year is probably going to be the other, up a percentage. Sooner or later, something's got to give. I'm in favor of trying to help out the departments and stuff. I just feel in this instance we need to take a step back for a little bit and just reassess and just wait it out for a little bit. And if that's what it takes for us. Now, this gentleman contractor said, I'll let you use mine that he has. He's a local contractor. Buy us some time. I just think, and it is nice to start giving some equipment to the departments, but I just feel that we should step back for a little bit. And so I just wanted to say that I will be voting no on this. It doesn't mean in the future, my opinion, doesn't mean in the future we can't bring it back up, but right now I don't think it is a priority. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to go before Ron?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Some basic questions, and then
Okay.
I'm hoping Mr. Trudeau will answer some, or shed some better light. I have heard a number of the concerns that the former councilor also mentioned. My question originally, though, before that conversation was because similar, we took money out for the tractors and such out of the sewer and water funds. And I know last year we were fortunate in getting a lot of backowed water and sewer in, cash in, so we were able to only raise the sewer, right? We saved the water zero. Do you have a projection for the upcoming year? That was my first question that I was thinking about when I was looking at this.
Through you, Madam Chair, certainly the target that we're trying to set for retained earnings is about the $1.5 million for both water and sewer. Both operations are about $3 million a year operations. We are well above those numbers, hence the request. The one thing just on this that as a concept here, I don't believe in just buying things for the sake of buying them. You buy them for two reasons. One, that it costs too much to maintain, and we did tell people we were going to maintain that and get that back in service, because this was not going to become operational for this winter season. It was going to be really for the spring. But the interesting one is when we bought the backhoe for the water and sewer, we bought the different attachments to it. You know, on the water project that we're doing and other projects we're doing, actually up on Torrey Road, as an example, we actually did the work ourselves instead of contracting some of that work out. So by giving, you know, our quality guys, quality operators, the ability to do their job and to do it in a best fashion possible, not even the best fashion possible, but in a more efficient fashion possible, I think we have an obligation to make sure we give them the tools that are safe, that allow them to do the job that we're asking them to do. And this is a piece of equipment, unless I'm wrong, that is really a unique piece of equipment that gives us capacity to be able to cut the brush back. And I know, I sit up here at council meetings and I'm, told that we need to make sure we have good visibility on roads, make sure that, I think it was an issue not that long ago, making sure the sidewalks had the stuff pushed back. If we don't have the tools to give to our people, how can we expect them to do it in an efficient manner? So I do think that this is an item that is needed in order to continue to operate in an efficient manner. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Finish up.
Sorry, didn't answer the question, though. Do we have any anticipation on the water and sewer rates for next year? You didn't really answer that question, per se.
Well,
I see that we're over in our retained earnings.
The question was about retained earnings, and I said we're well in excess of the 1.5 target. In terms of water and sewer rates, we don't set water and sewer rates until February. So, no, I don't have an early indicator on water and sewer rates at this point. But I see nothing in the horizon that would indicate that all of a sudden I'm going to go away from the practice that I've had since I've been here, which is sub 3 or 4 at the most, to keep low single digits for increases. And if I can, keep them to 0, but I can only keep them to 0 if the funding trend, really operates favorably for us. So I don't see anything that would deviate from this course at this point.
Okay, and I'll be curious to see what Mr. Trudeau has to say in terms of the...
About the contractor letting us use his mower. It was a mower that he purchased through auction from the town of Southbridge. They gave it up. It's got some years on it, and he's rebuilt it. My big concern with using something like that would be the liability. If it breaks down, who's going to pay for that? I mean, it's a great gesture on his part to offer that to the town. I do believe in owning, not renting. Then it's at our, like the second sweeper. It's at our disposal anytime we want to use it. It's there. We have a lot of needs in this town for roadside mowing. It takes us several months to do it. We've been accomplishing that through using the airport roadside mower, and pretty much the mowing up there has been let go because Mr. Latour up there has been graciously letting us use his to open up our road edges to make increased visibility. Our mower is up and running right now at this time. We haven't been operating it because we've had a few things happen in the last couple of weeks, weather-wise, between a hurricane and a snowstorm. Just kind of put us behind with leaves and whatnot to get our fall duties done before the snow flies for good. So that'd be my concerns at this time in regards to that.
Am I correct in this is the mower that's got the arm?
Absolutely.
That you can get in between the guardrails, and it will be also used up at the school?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, the new school?
Absolutely.
So you'll be sharing this?
Mr. Como had brought to our attention about the exorbitant amount of guardrail and hard-to-reach areas up for maintenance at the new high school. I told him that if I, get this new mower, which is going to be more productive because the controls and whatnot are more productive, it's more updated. The productivity on that mower is going to be double of what we have now. We'd be able to work it into our schedule to get those guardrails and all those hard-to-reach areas that would be, and otherwise would be maintained by hand, and exorbitant amount of labor hours versus one operator on this mower. So I see it as a win-win situation. We're using it on the water and sewer easements. We're using it in the school, on our own roadways. Our ball fields themselves are starting to encroach. The wood lines are starting to encroach. Those new fields that are at the new high school, all those wood lines are going to start encroaching on the play fields. There has to be something to take that back, and you got to do it with a machine because you can't do it by hand. You'll be there forever.
And this, if in fact this mower goes through, this mower won't be available to you until the spring. Am I correct?
He's waiting on a call for tomorrow. Matter of fact, he's holding this price. This price is going to go up 25%. He held the price because he knew that this council meeting was going to happen tonight. He said it's 60 days out. So that's 2 months. So if the weather holds, you can guarantee that thing will be out there all winter long as long as we, and that's the nice thing about this machine. It has an enclosed cab, so the operator doesn't freeze under adverse conditions and doesn't bake in the heat of the summer. So that's one thing we're going to see more production with that, because the ease of operation is going to be tenfold.
Anybody else have any questions? Councilor Marcucci.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Mr. Trudeau, I'm sorry, I was away at that subcommittee, so I'm going by the discussion that's here this evening and what was reflective of the minutes. The piece of equipment that you have now is operable.
Yes. It's a 1988. It's had several repairs done to it. It's set up such that it's got a clutch, and we've had to replace it 3 times because it doesn't have a creeper gear, which the new one does have, where when you're operating on the wrong road edges, you have a lot of obstacles that go around, rocks and whatnot. It does have a lot more wear and tear on a machine. The old one does, because of the nature of the mechanisms that it has, the clutch instead of versus a creeper gear. It is operating now, but I don't know for how long. It's had its problems.
Sure. And you guys, I know you guys down at DPW are wizards with repair and maintaining your vehicles, because you've had vehicles from, the 70s.
Absolutely. This unit here is a 1988.
Okay. Now, is this a piece of equipment, in your opinion, that you feel that you need this year? How much work, now that we're in the fall, going into the winter, is this something that you're going to use throughout the winter season and cut back, or? We
can utilize this piece of equipment throughout the whole year, because of the cab versus the open cab that we have now. As long as we don't have an exorbitant amount of snowfall, we can cut back our road edges. We can even do the tree lines that are on our fields and stuff, as long as we don't have a lot of snow. But it's something that, yes, it can be used year-round, for sure.
Okay. It's just my concern, in listening to Councilor Langevin this evening, the financial spending that we've done in the DPW, and certainly warranted. You guys are definitely behind the 8 ball in your equipment. It's just it's a tough number to digest.
We haven't purchased anything down there since 2002. Since Mike Coughlin was the town manager, we got a used cabin chassis to clean our catch basins with. That was a 2000 cabin chassis. So that was 2 years old when we bought that, with a brand new body and clamshell to clean our catch basins. We bought a brand new mower to help our productivity on our ball fields. At that time, we bought 2 brand new pickups. So the newest pickups we have down there are 10 years old. So, yeah, do I feel there's a need for this machine? I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't think there was.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilor Regis. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Trudeau, is the current piece of equipment going to be traded in?
Yes.
It will be traded in?
Yes. It's, I believe the value on that was, the trade was, I think, $6,100, I believe, on the trade. It was, we're asking in this quote for 2 different types of heads that go on, they're interchangeable on this arm that goes over the guardrails. One head is used for finer grasses and thinner brush, if you will. The other head is a thicker blade, which will cut back the thicker stalk, 6 inches plus trees along the road edges and branches that grow into the public way. So this is all part of that price. It's very quick, interchangeable heads that can conquer our needs for a long time to come.
Thank you. I think I've made it perfectly clear since I've been on council how I feel about the DPW and their equipment needs. We have a great group of guys down there. They've proven that. They work with, I don't know how they work with the stuff we have. I'm glad. Enclosed cab, air conditioning, heat, beautiful, I love it. Because when they're out there plowing, most of the trucks, there's no heat. Windows are fogging up. it's just, if you give the employees the tools to do their jobs right, morale is better. These guys love their jobs. Our mechanics are I don't know, masters. I don't know how they do what they do with what they have. From a municipal finance point of view, this is the best case scenario right here. There's no debt, no borrowing. We budgeted $1 million or $1.2 million for the budget for from free cash?
$1 million.
$1 million. So we have plenty to go ahead and satisfy that requirement. And as far as the capital plan goes, that's up to Mr. Clark and the department heads to prioritize and the monies that are available in order to fund these capital items. This is the way to do this, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else? Counselor Moriarty.
Similar to some of the other speakers, I find myself pretty torn on this, in that I think more than just about any department, I think DPW often gets the short end of the stick. They're kind of the stepchild of sorts, where police and fire is usually where a lot of the money goes. Certainly looking at what the DPW has, there's a lot of vehicles from the 70s and 80s, early 90s, that sort of thing. But one of my issues with this is more or less the sum is, granted it's a large amount, and I understand the whole point with the capital planning, but if this is an 88, and I don't necessarily think this is necessarily for you, Ron, but maybe for the manager, or I know Mr. Daly's not here, but if this was an 88, this certainly shouldn't be kind of an unforeseen thing. Why wasn't this perhaps budgeted?
It's in the capital budget. Okay. It's been in the capital budget for probably the 4 years I've been here.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Okay. Councilor Vandal?
This is a lot of money for this piece of equipment, but this piece of equipment is well worth it because, like everybody's been saying, the old one's in 1988, and we got a lot of work this machine can handle. And the people like the sides of the roads clean, like 5 and 6 feet in. And I know they did a pass around town not long ago, and they did such a thing. They cleaned near the sides of a lot of roads. And I'll tell you, this new machine is going to be welcome. And, the school's going to get use out of it. The new school, you've got a lot of guardrails. This is going to be able to go on the other side of the guardrails and trim the grass and stuff. Otherwise, they're going to have to do it by hand. And they don't have time up there. I mean, the custodian. We can't hire, 80 people, to maintain grass and stuff. So I think I'm going to be voting for it tonight. It was vetted at the DPW subcommittee, and mostly everybody was in favor of it. And I think it's a good deal for the town of Southbridge. It's a lot of money, but this is a lot of machine. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else? Counselor Landry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Speaker, Mr. Trudeau. This machine is in 1988, and again, this was about a month ago, the meeting. How many hours on the engine?
I believe there's over 4,000.
4,000 hours?
4,000 hours, yeah.
And again, that's one of my points. This is in 1988 and has 4,000 hours on the engine. So let's think about, again, the usage that you're saying that you use it, how much you use it. Again, it's easy. Honest to God, and I said it in the subcommittee, the easy answer for me is to say yes. The hard answer, in no disrespect to the town manager, but again, I'm worried about the citizens too. I want to give them all the tools to work with, but somewhere along the way, you got to start saying no, because some of the councils will say, why did my water sewer rates go up? That's all I'm saying. The easy answer is to say yes. Tonight, just my opinion, it probably go through, but I will say no on it. It does no disrespect to the DPW. And I think I've been very, very forthcoming in giving as much as I can give. But now, on this point, I want to just retract a little, and it's my only opinion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Anybody else wish to weigh in on this? Councilor Moriarty.
Just briefly, it's part of my, and I try to look at everything on its own merits. Each agenda item has its own agenda item, not looking at the rest. But part of what kind of raised my eyebrows prior to tonight's meeting is between the next 10 items or so, whether it's from free cash or other accounts, and I know a lot of this has been approved at subcommittee or even prior council meetings, but we're talking about more than $435,000 being spent tonight, assuming everything goes through, which is tough, and we have a lot of money that goes around. Doing the math based on the conversation from Councilor Langevin and Mr. Trudeau, we're talking about a little more than 166 hours a year then that it's being used. And I know it was stated that it's not used very often or it's broken down quite often. I know Councilor Langevin referenced seeing it at one point this year. I know I saw it in use at least 3 times, 3 separate days up in my area, Denison and Durfee and that sort of area. I just have a hard time. And again, like I said, I think that DPW always gets the short end of the stick, DPW and schools to a degree, but yeah, it's a tough one for me, that's all.
The reason why I feel it doesn't have as many hours as it could on it is because it's had its fate of problems. I haven't mowed back some of these fields, like Lower West Street Field, I would think in probably 6-7 years. It's because it's been down. My priority is road edges, not ball fields. I hate to say that, but it's reality. That's where the safety factor is. I would love to get down there and do these fields and do a lot of other areas, but I don't have the accessibility to do that because the thing's giving us problems.
So how, in an ideal situation, how many hours would this use? Because we're obviously talking about, we've had it roughly 24 years for 4,000 hours. You know, let's just take out the last 10 years of it, say, 10 years that has been broken down or so and that has been patched. How many hours was it getting prior to that? How many hours was it getting in its prime?
I can't speak before 10 years ago. This would be 10 years I've been operations manager for the town. I know it's gone out the door every chance I get. When I have an operator go on it, it goes out because there's a need to have it done. Every chance I get to have it out, I feel like my hands are tied when I can't get it out the door because I know there's a need to have it out the door, and the town has a need for this. So I can't tell you how many hours, but I know it's going to be utilized.
Councilor Marcucci?
This, Mr. Clark, this would probably be more for you, or maybe Mr. Trudeau could answer this. How much have we vested in DPW this year with the other pieces of equipment that we've purchased?
I think in the last 2 years, we did 2 backhoes and a sweeper. And I believe that's, in the time that I've been here, the only other allocation that I recall is we bought 3 sander bodies, probably 3 truck bodies.
70,000.
For sanders for 70,000.
Mm-hmm.
So those are on 1988s and 87s, trucks.
Right. But with the equipment that we've done, let's say in the past year, the 3 pieces of equipment, Mr. Clark, that you just mentioned, what has that totaled?
The sweeper was 178,000, and those 2 backhoes were just shy of 250.
And I think on the backhoes, though, one of them was strictly water purposes.
And the other one was coming out of sewer and operations.
Half operations. One of the things, just 2 comments. One, just Mr. Daly's memo actually says that our existing mower has been on the road only 9 days in the past 2 years due to breakdowns. Now, granted, they repaired it and it's now operational. We're getting a little better life out of it now. The second is, last year we had $830,000 in free cash, the amount of left over. This year we had $2 million. It's prudent when you have excess to use it. It's a one-time revenue, and I think I pointed out that some of those different revenues, about I think $600,000 to $800,000 of that is one-time money. We don't want to put it towards a permanent or ongoing costs. So what you want to do when you have the opportunity, in this case we do have the opportunity, to take some of the items off the capital list so we don't have to put them out to debt, and to take some of those items and pay those off as resources allow. And in this, the extra $1 million that we have, we are putting $700,000 into reserves and $300,000 to address the most critical need items that I believe that we have at this point. So I think from a financial perspective, you know, this is good financial practice to go the road that's being advocated. So I just wanted to point that out, that it hasn't been on the road very much in the scheme of things. And that secondly, we have, because of the tornado reimbursements and some of the other reimbursements that we received, we happen to have a little extra, and now's the time to take some of those capital items off the list. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anybody else? I'm going to support this evening because I've been hearing about this issue for quite some time. Over the past couple of years, we've had some serious weather conditions in our community. And in the middle of our tornado, I was getting phone calls from citizens who weren't affected by the tornado but wanted to know when somebody was going to come and clear the roads from brush, and they have a right to feel that way. Priority might have been a little skewed at the time, but that was their issues. And unfortunately, I don't think things are going to get better in terms of the weather conditions and the crises and the things to come down the road. And this piece of equipment is probably going to be used a heck of a lot more than we'd like it to. It's a lot of money, but as the manager is breaking down the dollars, when you think about how often we have to approve little contracts here, there, and everywhere for things that we just can't do because we are not equipped to handle them, so we have to pay somebody else to do them. When you start to add all of those little contracts up, they start to get expensive. I prefer to have the town DPW do as much possible work in this community as possible. That's what they're here for. I'm going to support it. It is a lot of money, but it's been an awful long time. As Mr. Trudeau said, and I recollect this has been on the list for 4 years, and we keep putting it off, but this seems to be a good time to take care of this, so I am going to support this. If nobody has anything further, I'm going to ask for a roll call, please.
Councillor Vandal? Yes. Councillor Clements?
Yes.
Councillor Langevin? No. Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
No.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Peliquin?
No.
Councillor Regis?
Yes.
5 yes, 3 no.
Thank you. Agenda item number 15, vote to appropriate $14,849 from certified free cash to purchase new duty weapons and holsters for the police department. The balance of $10,000 to be funded from the State Law Enforcement Trust Fund. Second. Any discussion? Chief, you want to give us a little background, please?
Our current weapons are a little over 10 years old. That's close to being the useful life before you start doing a lot of repairs. We've done some repairs. I believe this is very cost effective for the community. It's a higher caliber weapon than we have right now. Many departments have moved to this already. I believe it's a safety enhancement for the officers. The holsters that we're purchasing are also safer for the officers, so I believe it's a very positive move for us at this time.
Thank you. Councilor Moriarty.
Just wanted to point out, I know it's something I had asked about in subcommittee, but just for the public's point of view, you know, my big question or issue with it was simply, you know, the budgeting part, because it was in February and such, and that sort of thing. And I know you have some surplus equipment that you would hope to sell to kind of offset this, and just for their, you know, as much as you can, kind of an explanation on that.
Sure, we do have two points with that. We have a lot of weapons that are being held by the department. We've gotten in all kinds of ways. Some of those weapons can be turned in to an arms dealer, giving us cash that can be used for this type of item if, in fact, the community, the manager decides that's where the funds should go. Those funds would go back to the regular general account, but could be used for this. We also have a very old antique machine gun. This is what Councilor Moriarty is alluding to, that it was our hope to sell and pay for this entire project. We learned just recently that unfortunately, because that weapon was registered somewhere in the early 1980s as a police weapon, at this point we have not been allowed to sell that. It's got to remain within police hands. We're still working on that. I've talked to the attorney for the Mass Chiefs. He thinks that it's possible to do that through a special act of legislation, and we're talking about $30,000 or $40,000. So that was our real hope, to do this, to trade something we can't possibly use on the street and get more value than we needed to replace weapons for all the officers. We're still going to try that, but that could take months and months, could take a year to get through the legislature. So we certainly will try that, though.
But you did say in the meantime that I could use it here for council meetings, didn't you? As long as there was a police officer in the building, I could have it at my disposal.
If the community votes that, Councilor,
Thank you.
certainly.
I thought so. Thank
certainly.
you. Councilor Clements?
I do want to point out also that we discussed at the meeting that while we can't get that 30 or 40,000, the number actually reflects the fact that we're trading in all the old guns and getting about a 50% return on that original investment, which is really nice.
Yes,
so,
that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Regis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have we determined whether this particular organization is on the state bid list, or are we going to have to go out for a formal bid?
I apologize. I did call them. It is ridiculous how busy arms dealers are right now. Depending on who you talk to, they will tell you that's because of the election, or they will tell you that's because of zombies. And I don't mean to make a joke out of this. I really don't. But for some reason, one of our local reporters did a piece on nationwide arms buying. It's incredible right now. I really don't know why. You hear all kinds of things. So I apologize. I have not gotten a call back other than them to say that this price is still good. Councilor Moriarty had asked because it's a little beyond the 30-day date they gave us. So I will try to get that immediately for Mr. Clark, of course, before anything is ordered, so we do it properly.
If it's not on the state bid list, then we will bid it out.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody all set? Could I have a roll call, please?
Councillor Clements?
Yes.
Councillor Langevin? Yes. Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Peliquin?
Yes.
Councillor Regis?
Yes.
Councillor Vandal?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Agenda item number 16, vote to approve in part the school committee's request of September 11th, 2012 for supplemental funds in the amount of $98,494.35, broken down to $32,127 as an appropriation from certified free cash to the school department FY13 budget for switches and wall plates, and further appropriate $66,367.35 from certified free cash to the FY 2013 school capital account for the purchase of soccer goals, tractor, 4x4 lawn care vehicle, and scoreboards at the new middle high school. This was voted unanimously at EHS Subcommittee on October 10th, 2012. Any discussion on this? Councillor Moriarty.
I feel like I'm a cantankerous, cheapskate old man at the moment, but through you to the manager, I know when we had this meeting, the superintendent, former superintendent, whatever he is at the moment, and the business manager had come forward, and they talked about this and made their case. And I know we trimmed a little bit out of there, but there was also talk about some possible numbers changing based on bids and other things, as I recall. They were talking about possibly getting in from Wells, bringing in those scoreboards and that sort of thing that would help bring the cost down. I don't know if you have any updates on that or not, or...
I would think just maybe due to the activity that they've been engaged in, they have not reported back to me. I think the reason why they did do the $66,000 from the capital account is to give me the opportunity that they don't have to spend the full amount, that they were going to come back through administration. Right. So we will make sure that they follow through on the commitments they made that night.
And that was my other part, was I recall specifically, it might have been Councilor Peliquin, I don't recall, kind of making the point of altering the wordage to say up to rather than the actual 98 figure. You know, there's, for the most part, I support it. There are a couple things in there that I have heartburn with, but yeah, it's another one of the bigger expenses. Granted, part of it is certainly necessary, and proactively is useful, though. Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to change the wording of this vote so that it reads, vote to approve in part the school committee's request of September 11, 2012 for supplemental funds up to $98,494.35.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Can I have a roll call on the amendment, please?
Councillor Langevin?
Yes.
Councillor Marcucci?
Yes.
Councillor Moriarty?
Yes.
Councillor Nicola?
Yes.
Councillor Peliquin?
Yes.
Councillor Regis?
No.
Councillor Vandal?
Yes.
Councillor Clements?
Yes.
Was that a yes? I'm sorry.
7.
Oh, yes. 7 yes, 1 no.
Okay. All right. Did somebody have something? Councilor Regis.
Madam Chair, thank you. And if I can just explain my no vote, I don't believe that's a proper vote for a free cash transfer, but anyway, that's just heartburn for Mrs. Hanois, I guess. This memo from the school business manager, through you to Mr. Clark, can you confirm that these numbers that they're saying their fund balance was actually what he's stating here? That they returned these amounts of money to the general fund?
I believe I had this vetted by the town accountant, and I believe that the numbers are accurate.
They're accurate. I have a problem with, you know, separating out, well, I turned back this much money, and I turned back this much money, and, you know, it's the general fund, so, you know, if the chiefs turn back 100 grand each, they're going to expect that they're going to get that much out of free cash the next year? No. I have a problem with that mindset. And also, just as an aside, Mr. Trudeau, when you do mow those lawns over at the new high school, I want you to keep track of the hours, because I want that charged back to the school on the Schedule 19.
Schedule 19.
You know, what's fair is fair. We separate out water and sewer. Everybody needs to pay for their indirect costs. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, Counselor Langevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also at this meeting, I do recollect that I'm looking at, you know, the list of things, and it says 2 golf carts.
Where?
John Deere and stuff
Where?
like that. 2 golf carts.
That's
That's the items that got
not on
cut. The
That's-
reason why I went from
okay.
108 down to 98 is because that was the 10,000 that was cut.
Okay, and then the other thing through you is, in my packet, I was reading when the business manager was willing to turn over the Wells building now. He did say there was one thing in there that caught my attention, saying there was one thing, the scoreboard, that they're going to take the scoreboard too. So, but then I'm seeing on this, scoreboard at New Middle High School.
Yeah, just to reconcile that, during the discussion that evening, there was, and this goes to the school project, kind of finishing the school project, but there was one scoreboard that was purchased as part of the project.
Okay.
There was a desire to have 2 scoreboards, which is more traditional. The concept was, if they can use the 2 from the middle school, the old middle school, and or one of them is compatible with the one that we purchased, then it makes sense that we could utilize that, and then that's why the up to language was adopted. They may not need to purchase the scoreboard. If there's a compatibility issue and they're not compatible, then we would have to purchase one to get one that would be compatible with the existing one that's there.
Okay. Thank you. I'm all set, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yep. Counselor Clements.
On that note also, as I recall, on the tractor, where they mentioned they weren't sure which, on the John Deere, I believe it was, they were talking about buying a different brand, which potentially was going to be a little bit less in
Correct.
cost also.
The
So
Toro-
there might be a few $1,000 savings there. So,
It's true. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Can we have a roll call on the vote as amended, please?
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
No.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no.
Thank you. Agenda item number 17, vote to appropriate $23,500 from certified free cash for the purpose of remote cameras to be deployed at the athletic fields to the new middle high school and necessary monitors for said cameras to be installed at police dispatch. This, too, was voted unanimously at PPP Subcommittee on October 9th, 2012.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
7 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 18, vote to appropriate $55,756.18 from certified free cash for the purpose of radio cell tower equipment for enhanced radio coverage throughout the town.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 19. Vote to ratify the contract between the Town of Southbridge and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to transfer of FY 2013 local cultural funds from the Mass Cultural Council in the amount of $8,100, covering the dates of service July 1st, 2012 to June 30th, 2013.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 20, vote to ratify the contracts for health insurance renewals for 2 Blue Cross Blue Shield and Fallon Senior Plan effective January 1st, 2013, pursuant to the Treasurer's memo dated November 2nd, 2012.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 40, feels like we're 21, vote to appropriate $10,921.96 from overlay surplus to account number 00109455787, interest on abatements, to refund interest for a fiscal year 2009 personal property tax abatement.
Second.
Discussion.
Just if we could, I know Mr. Canori is not here, but just, I don't know if the manager would be the best person, just to kind of, this is something that your average person probably isn't going to figure out. I think a lot of the councilors didn't quite understand. I thought Mr. Canori did an excellent job of explaining why this was necessary, and I just figured it might be for public information.
Just on this, it's actually a little interesting, only in the Commonwealth of Mass sometimes. There was a question as to whether phone company equipment, that we have a phone company unit here, or I can't remember what they call them, a distribution location. And the phone company said that that was tax exempt, and there was an issue in regards to whether it was tax exempt or not. It ultimately went to court, as well as the legislature changed and said, yes, it is no longer tax exempt. It is, in fact, taxable, effective, I believe, FY 2010. The phone company then sued and said, okay, well, prior to 2010, we want an abatement. Now, one would think that if the legislature and the other courts said that it is taxable and you need to pay your taxes, that the court probably should have came out and agreed with that. They didn't. They came back and said, no, it is tax exempt, and every city and town owes not only the amount that's back, but you also owe interest. Now, the Board of Assessors, to their credit, kept aside $38,000, which was the amount of the abatement, but then the court ruling had the interest, and we did not allocate the interest, hence we're allocating the interest at this point.
And that was another point I wanted to mention too, was simply kudos to the assessor's office in holding back the money. I know Will had said that a number of other communities have not done so, and now they're kind of scrambling, trying to, whether it's from free cash or otherwise, come up with this money that they are now obligated to pay. So,
Thank you, Counselor. Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 22, vote to transfer $100,000 from receipts reserved insurance in excess of $20,000 account to the tornado damage account to extend the newly constructed water line of Commercial Drive to the airport site to provide drinking water and water to the fire hydrants for firefighting capabilities and to pay all vendors related to this project.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just again,
Okay.
it's a large amount. However, in this case, and I know Commercial Drive becomes a buzzword for some folks, but this isn't obviously benefiting Commercial Drive. This is benefiting the airport and really the town in a lot of ways. And this is one where it certainly makes sense to me. So,
Okay. Thank you, Counselor. Can I have a roll call, please?
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 23, vote to ratify the IFE for the review of Phase 2 airport rebuild to URS in the amount of $1,200 as summarized on Exhibit A, and to transfer $1,200 from receipts reserved insurance excess of $20,000 account to the tornado damage account.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 24, vote to appropriate $15,000 from certified free cash to account number 119057000746, reserve for property repair, maintenance, and demolition to fund the Town Hall office renovations as approved at the October 24th, 2012 Town Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? I'd just like to say that the office upstairs is looking very nice. Nice job.
I wish to thank the Department of Public Works. They've done an outstanding job. The only real money we're doing is they couldn't do the carpet, obviously, so we had to contract that out, but I do wish to appreciate the efforts of the folks down there.
Very nice. Nice job. Councilor Regis.
And just, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but probably kudos to Mrs. Tortoise for her coordination. She's a master at coordination, and she does an excellent job. So I think, Mr. Clark, you said the other night it was seamless for you, really.
It was.
So she does a great job, so thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Counselor Marcucci?
Yes.
Counselor Moriarty?
Yes.
Counselor Nicola?
Yes.
Counselor Peliquin?
Yes.
Counselor Regis?
Yes.
Counselor Vandal?
Yes.
Counselor Clements?
Yes.
Counselor Langevin?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Agenda item number 25, vote to approve that the fire department issue a permit for a pre-Thanksgiving football game bonfire according to Mass General Law 111, Section 142H, on Wednesday, November 21st, 2012, 6 p.m. at McMahon Field.
So moved.
Second.
Before we take this vote, it's been asked of me, and I want to clarify. This has always been something that the council should have been approving. We just never realized it, and Mark, our fire chief, called it to my attention, and I thank you for that. Appreciate that. I want to do things right. So if there's no discussion, can we have a roll call, please?
Council Moriarty?
Yes.
Council Nicola?
Yes.
Councilor Peliquin?
Yes.
Councilor Regis?
Yes.
Councilor Vandal? Councilor Clements?
Yes.
Councilor Langevin?
Yes.
Councilor Marcucci?
Yes.
8 yes.
Thank you. Okay. Agenda item number 26 is Councilors Forum. Councilor Moriarty.
I have a few different things. Again, kind of going on the codger thing. It's rare that I get a whole lot of phone calls. I don't usually get a lot. But one thing that I did get a lot of phone calls on, and I haven't had a chance to talk to the veterans agent about it as yet, is a lot of people that called quite upset that there was no Veterans Day parade. So that's something that I do intend to touch base with him, or maybe the managers are better perhaps to do so. But that seems to be a big issue for a lot of people in town, that there was no parade. There was, even the flag retirement ceremony, I was out of state at the time, but from what I understand was postponed or called off due to the weather. And I do know Council Langevin in the hospital did their luncheon and that sort of thing. But I do know there were a lot of people that were disappointed or straight out upset that there was no parade, whether they're a veteran or to support a veteran. So that's one thing. Something that was brought up earlier by the manager, as far as the winter parking regulation changes, I know you rambled off the list there, but it was quite a long list of streets that were being added, and hopefully we can add that to the website or press releases to the paper, that sort of thing, maybe mail if we have to, so that people know before they get the tickets. Also, a couple other just brief things. I know I had emailed the chairs of the town and the school committee, as well as a couple other folks on each side, as far as the possibility of discussing a liaison between the school and town sides. And I'm not looking to have a debate on that at the moment. Just wanted to kind of, it's been a big issue as of late. Obviously, it's been in the newspapers, and anywhere you go, it seems to be the topic of the day for the last couple weeks. And one of the things that I've talked about a number of times prior to and since being on the council is this idea of trying to increase communication between the two sides. I've brought up the idea rather of somewhat regular meetings between the two boards, and I know it was mentioned that happens around budget time. Whether it's through some sort of actual liaison that would have to be kind of worked out between the two groups, or whether it's through EHS or otherwise, I just think it would be very beneficial to help provide updates. And certainly on the school side, it might even help them out publicity-wise at the moment to be out in front of it.
In my earlier days as a counselor, we did that, and it was very productive. But it has always been few and far between, and it seems that it's only when there's a crisis that needs intervention, and the two boards need to sit down and work things out together.
Right.
We've been very productive with that. It probably should come through Education Human Services as it has in the past, so certainly something to consider if you'd like to.
And I agree. I just think it would help to be a little more proactive rather than the sky is falling, and then we kind of rally.
Absolutely.
So just on that line. And then lastly, the last couple things, I mentioned this at the last meeting, but there's some other dates as far as the master planning. I've not yet had a chance to go to one of the meetings. We've had a number of subcommittees as of late, so I've not had a chance to get to one of these master planning meetings, but they have one Tuesday, November 27th at 6:30 at Charlton Street School, Thursday the 29th at 6:30 at West Street School, Wednesday, December 5th at 10 a.m. over at Community Connections on the corner of Main and Hamilton. And then I guess the results of those meetings will be shown, I assume, here in council chambers at Town Hall on Wednesday, December 12th at 6:30. I have seen a lot of the social media end of that and a lot of largely productive and positive comments, not always, but largely. So that's great, and I do hope to get to at least one, if not multiple, of the meetings remaining. Last two parts quickly. I know myself, the chair and vice chair, were at an Eagle Scout ceremony yesterday actually, for Jake Van Horn. and just wanted to commend him on that. Jake is a kid I had the privilege of coaching for a couple of years in baseball, and it wasn't until last night or this morning that I realized that I'm fortunate enough to have had, in the last several years of kids that I coached, next year will be the third that'll make Eagle Scouts, which surprises me, considering how rare an accomplishment that is. But I think that speaks volumes for a lot of the kids we have in this community that far too often get an unfair bad rap. So just kudos to Jake and the Eagle Scout group there. And then lastly, just happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Vandal?
Thank you. Lately, I read articles from 2 different newspapers saying that Southbridge was going to allow, Casella was going to allow Charlton to throw free trash at our landfill, 2 bags and 1 bulk item a week on Saturdays. And I was wondering how that's going to work, because who's going to be tallying the tonnage that they have to pay us per ton?
Thank you for the opportunity. I actually meant to bring that up under manager's announcement. Councilman Vandal brought it up to me before, and I did call around today to make sure I had my information correct. Certainly the town of Southbridge has free trash pickup, and the town of Charlton, I'm going to answer there. The town of Charlton, through a decision that Casella made to offer free trash pickup, but they will be paying us the royalty for whatever comes into the landfill. So it's free for the residents of Charlton, but it's going to be paid for. Our tipping fee, if you would, or the royalty fee, will be paid for by Casella, because the only obligation that Casella has with the town is for free trash pickup in Southbridge. Certainly that does not extend to Charlton, so they've made the business decision that they want to do that, and they're willing to foot the bill for the cost of doing that.
I just want to inform you that's why I wanted to cut in when you first started talking, is we don't get free trash pickup. We pay Casella an amount of money to pick up our trash, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not mistaken. I don't believe I am. I believe.
Well, Madam Chair, just that's true. Casella pays us X amount of dollars, and then we pay Casella X amount of dollars. So the net impact of that is 0.
We're paying.
The net impact of them paying us and then we paying them back is 0.
But if we didn't have to pay them back, we would keep it. They're paying us, and then we have to turn around and give it back to them. So actually, we're paying for our trash pickup, and Charlton's going to get free trash pickup. I mean, I don't know. Thank you.
Councilor Pelican?
Yes, I had a couple of things, a couple of agenda items I missed seeing this evening. We still need to have the 3rd reading for our bylaw.
That's being worked on, Councilor.
Okay, okay. And also our executive session minutes.
Executive session minutes.
Yeah.
Because of the move and we had the storm, so we are behind. We're definitely behind, but we will get that out, trust me.
Okay. My other question was, in the weekly report, I saw that you had met with the attorney representing us on the amendments to the landfill extension agreement that has been working on. Is that Mike Scott?
That's correct.
Okay. Are we paying for that attorney, or is Casella paying for that attorney?
He's paid for by us. I approached the council about funding for Mr. Scott for 2 purposes. One was for the look-back clause, and then also we are doing some looking forward items in terms of that. So we are paying for that because that's not part of the Casella oversight, if you would.
Oh, okay. I had done a records request with the finance director, and she'd said that there weren't any invoices from him for the last 6 months, so I was confused as to whether or not we're covering that fee or if it's somebody else. So, but I can follow up with her on that.
Yeah, I'll check and see when he submits the bills.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Councilor Marcucci?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mr. Clark. With the issue that Councilor Vandal just brought up, with us being the landlord, if you will, and Casella being the tenant, Is there anything that, we have a clause in at the landfill? I mean, do we have to let Casella do this? I know there's a tipping fee, but, sometimes the money's just not worth it.
What I can do, let me go back and look at the agreement more carefully in terms of this. My initial reaction is that Casella has the ability to accept into the landfill regional trash, which means that they can come with agreements with individual parties in other towns that we bring in the trash. And I do not believe that the town has say in terms of how they do that business arrangement. And if, as I was told today, it is a business decision by Casella to offer that to Charlton and then they pay us, we may not have that much latitude. It is a long agreement, and we have other things going with them, and every so often I go back through and kind of reread to make sure that I have myself grounded, because usually it's a topic like this, something different comes up and I need to look at the different sections. But I will look at that element of it, because I appreciate that the council has some significant concern with the way that was done and what is being done. So let me look at it.
I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Clark, reading that article really got under my skin. I was upset. It's like, my God, we're the landlords here. Where can we put ourselves? When can we ever say no to Casella, I guess is what I want to know, if that's at all possible.
Okay.
Thank you. And I'd just like to wish everybody in the town of Southbridge happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Regis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very quickly, happy Turkey Day, everyone. Makes for an interesting day in my household. My husband bleeds green through and through, and I, of course, being a Southbridge girl, bleed red. So it makes for an interesting day, and we've always agreed never to go to the game because that might end in divorce. So go Pioneers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Langevin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple questions. Through you to the town manager. When we purchased the 2 new backhoes, and it was a while ago, I'm getting back, I know one of them was a big safety issue, and it was going to be taken off a line. Has that backhoe been taken offline and out of service? That was a big thing when we were appropriating the money. We said this is a big safety issue, right, and I'm concerned. Now, I want to know if that backhoe has been taken out of service, and do we have the documentation of that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. There was 2 backhoes. One of them we did retain solely for the purposes of doing some work, turning the piles down at the sewer plant, because we weren't using the backhoe portion of it. We were using the loader portion of it, and then the other one we traded in. I don't remember off the top of my head which is which, but we did retain one.
I just remember the word creeper.
Yeah,
it was creeping. It was moving while people, and again, that's an issue. When I go and support something, and this is what they tell me, I'm looking to say, if you tell me we're taking that offline, I expect it to be offline.
That backhoe, and it's being housed at the wastewater treatment plant for loading vehicles down there with the front end. The rear end is not being used, and that's the issue we had with that rear end of that backhoe creeping, as you say. We have not used that backhoe at all on the back end. We've used it to load vehicles with down there and push material up, our wood chips from our chipping that we're doing during storms and whatnot. It's utilized. It's being utilized in that fashion down there, so we don't have to move a machine down there. But it has not been used for backhoe purposes, the rear part of the machine, at all.
All right, thank you.
The other one was traded in, right?
The other one was traded in, and it was bought very soon afterwards. It was traded into John Deere.
And one more question, and actually might pertain to you. And I said this last year, and I'll say it again this year. And I don't want to be portrayed as the Grinch, but Christmas trees. The residents of this community go and get their real Christmas tree, and they bring it to their house, and they decorate it. Why do most communities have a drop-off site? Why, and again, I'm just trying to help the DPW. I believe, I'm going to say you have 2 or 3 people at least going around picking up trees when we could have better service having a drop-off site. If they can pick up the tree and put it in their house, they can bring the tree back to a drop-off site instead of paying RTBW personnel to go around. And I know you use the wood chips. I understand that.
The problem with that being drop-off site is that when they drop it off, there's nobody sitting there watching the drop-off. You get ornaments, you get the tree stand, you get the star, and a whole shooting match all together. I think we got better things to do than to take ornaments off. We're not going to send that stuff through the chipper and dull up the blades on the chipper. So when we find a tree on the side of the road, when we patrol neighborhoods, we don't pick the tree up if it's totally decorated or it's got something on it that we don't want. And we don't get it, and if they call, we tell them the proper way to put it at the curbside, and then we pick it up. The other issue is to get a good drop-off spot where it's not going to become a hindrance or a fire hazard. Somebody can throw a match on those things and you'd have quite a bonfire without a permit. And you know, so these are the things you gotta face. I don't see it as a big hindrance, us doing them. I know it's time consuming, but usually we have a deadline by February 1st. They're all picked up, so you give them the end part of December, early January, all of January to put it on their curbside, and we take them down to the wastewater treatment plant. We pile them up there, we chip them, and as you said, we reuse the chips to maintain our lower maintenance weed control in some of our parcels. So, thank you. All right.
And last but not least, I want to wish my fellow councilors and the citizens a happy and Thanksgiving. Thank you. Also.
Thank you. Councilor Marcucci, did you have something for Mr. Trudeau?
Madam Chair. Mr. Trudeau, with what Councilor Langevin just referenced with that backhoe, and I'm not saying you specifically, because I know it was not you, at that subcommittee meeting at DPW, we were told, quote unquote, that that piece of equipment was unsafe, it was going to be taken and not used at all because of the jumping. And that's the only reason, and I said it here at a council meeting, that was the only reason why I specifically supported that piece of equipment. And now it still exists, even though that whatever that you said is not being utilized. Why weren't we told that in subcommittee? Because now it makes me question my vote this evening, because it seems like myself, maybe it's my ignorance, that I'm getting part of a story and I'm being sold something, and then I find out, 6 or 7 months later that this piece of equipment is still being utilized, not the part that could compromise someone's health, but we weren't told that in subcommittee.
It must have been conveyed to you in the wrong fashion that machine was not totally unsafe, but the rear part of it was unsafe, and that's
we were told it was unsafe, and it was going to be taken away, and I think out to auction. So
I don't know. I wasn't there at that subcommittee.
No, I know you weren't. So that's, Madam Chair, that's upsetting to me as a counselor, because I feel like, I'm being told something.
I understand,
that
and I gotta
they
be
want,
honest.
I
was there
understand.
too.
Yes,
I was there too, but all I remember is that the part about this thing moving, and I know what I've seen that kind of thing, and that somebody can get killed.
That's right.
When they're working with a machine that's actually moving on its own like that. But I've got to be honest with you, Counselor, I don't remember the second half of that sentence as to whether or not they were going to take it offline completely. I certainly don't remember anybody saying we may use part of it and not the other part, but I don't remember what its fate was going to be from the meeting. I'm not doubting you, I'm just saying I don't.
But I believe, Mr. Clark, that you even stated that it was going out to auction.
I thought, and I'll have to go back and look, that one machine was traded in. I thought that was the one that had the creep element to it. The other one had the backhoe was not safe, and the backhoe component was taken off. I will look, because obviously, a lot of times what I say is the information that I get from the departments too, and just see what transpired. But I thought the one that actually creeped forward that was a separate danger was actually the one that we got rid of because it was a danger.
Both of them had very similar problems. We traded one of them in. The other one that we kept, actually we haven't taken the rear end of that one off, the hoe itself, but that can be removed, so it cannot be utilized. But we have not been utilizing it at all. Just strictly the front end of that, front end loader of it, just for our convenience down there at the wastewater treatment plant, to prevent having to bring a machine across town to move material around down there.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you.
Councilor Regis.
The safety piece of it, though, the creeping is when the arms are down. That's the creeping part of it, correct? Which you would do to use the backhoe part of it?
That's part of the creeping problem. Is also the hoe itself would swing
Is
by
loose.
independently by itself.
Okay. And so I would suggest in the future for us that if we feel, we as a council feel very strongly about that, to do something similar and include that in a vote, like we did with the police cruisers, if you remember the last time. We did include that they have to be traded in or auctioned off or something like that. So if we feel that strongly, let's put it in the vote so that we make sure it happens. Just a suggestion.
It's a good suggestion. Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Clements? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilor Pellis? Did I get everybody? All right, Councilor Clements. I'm sorry.
Thanks. One housekeeping thing. I am requesting that our minutes be accepted by a show of hands rather than a roll call vote. It's, unless somebody has a real issue with that, I think it's just kind of a redundancy. It drives me nuts kind of when we roll call for the minutes. It's just like, all in favor? Okay. So that's just one request. And I guess I was a little bit confused on Councilor Moriarty's numbers on the free cash, because I came up with about 3.25 from tonight's numbers. I just kind of wanted to point that out. He had over 400, 450, he had commented. So unless they're coming up from somewhere else.
Right, no, my statement was basically from agenda items 14 to 24.
Right.
And I think I had stated that that whether it was coming from free cash or otherwise, that the figures were in excess of, say, 435. But that's if you count everything from 14 through 24.
Right, but some of those monies are not monies that we're spending out of free cash, 14 through 24.
Right. No, and I think I had stated that it wasn't all free cash.
Yeah, I've got
a lot of it was, but not all of it.
And that, yeah, okay, I just wanted to make
just
sure
that we were spending that.
And that
3.25
included the $54K from the sewer and water retained earnings. So I just wanted to point that out. I also want to give kudos. The Eagle Scout ceremony was very nice. I had been invited to 3 over the last couple of years, but or the last year or so. Unfortunately, I was out of town for 2. So this was my first experience, and I thought it was wonderful. And applaud to Jacob and his family, but also to the leaders who brought them there. Rob Caprera was the host for the event and did a wonderful job. So we've got some great adult leaders in this community, and I think people need to realize that it's us, it's the community leaders, it's the adults who set the example for those kids. So we need to keep that up for the children and set that example. And I do want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and let's not forget the meaning of Thanksgiving and the beginning of time, and how the Pilgrims were so grateful for all that they had. And I personally am very grateful, and I want to say a thank you to my family, who are very supportive in all that I do. And I do appreciate you all very much. So thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to all the councilors and the citizens.
Thank you, Councilor. Discussion of next meeting date.
I've got listed Monday, December 3rd, 2012, 7 o'clock here in Chambers.
And please remember that the tax rate public hearing will be at 6:30 prior to the actual town council meeting at 7. 28 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Have a very nice Thanksgiving. Good night.